Fairies and the Cleaning Factory. Deep in the New Forest, where no big people ever went, there was a tiny little magical village called the Arden Gardens. Here, three little tooth fairies named Incisor, Canine, and Molar were busy at work in their factory. The three tooth fairies were all named after types of teeth. Incisor was tall and skinny with short pink hair. Canine was also tall with blue hair, and Molar was the short, wise one with curly, silver locks. All day long the busy little fairies cleaned and shined the children's milk teeth they had collected during the night. The milk teeth were used to make very useful things in the Arden Gardens, like roads in the village and furniture in the homes for the little fairies. One day Incisor realized that the teeth coming into the cleaning factory were not as strong as they used to be. "Oh dear," said Incisor, "these teeth are fragile and brittle, with holes and black spots. They crumble as soon as I try to polish them with my cloth. Whatever are we to do?" "Yes," said Canine, "I know exactly what's wrong. The children are beginning to eat far too many sweets and are not looking after their teeth at all." "I know. We can fix it," said Molar, the wise one. She sounded quite excited by her grand idea. The three fairies looked at each other and waited while Molar explained all. As usual, it was a fabulous idea. The three of them wasted no time at all and got to work straight away. That night, it was Canine's turn to fly off and collect all the milk teeth from under the sleeping children's pillow. Off she flew with a bag of coins, some white berry sandwiches for her lunch, and a pack of cards, which the three fairies had spent all afternoon preparing. It was such a treat to leave the forest and see the city skyline, but it was a dangerous place for fairies. Canine had to make sure that the big people never saw her. She flew through the starry sky and saw the wonderful city fast asleep. Her first stop was a young boy named Junior. Earlier in the night, Junior and his mom had placed his milk tooth under the pillow. Mommy tapped Junior into bed and told him all about the tooth fairy who would leave some money in exchange for his tooth. She gave him a goodnight kiss and left him to fall asleep. By the time Canine arrived, Junior was fast asleep. She flew in through the top window that was ajar and glided quickly down to Junior's pillow. She perched beside him and braced herself in preparation for the task. "Eve." She lifted the pillow and wedged herself between the pillow and the bed. She quickly grabbed the tooth and tossed it over to her backpack. She placed 2 coins in the fairy's special card in exchange under the pillow and flew off into the night sky to find more milk teeth. In the morning, as soon as Junior woke up, he rummaged under the pillow to see if the tooth fairy had left any money for him. He was thrilled to find the coins, but looked blankly at the card he found in his hand. Mummy didn't mention anything about a card, he wondered. He read the card out aloud. The Tooth Fairy's Guide to Healthy Teeth. 1. Eat healthy. 2. Cut down on sugary sweets and drinks. 3. Brush your teeth twice a day. 4. Use a fluoride toothpaste. 5. Visit the dentist regularly. Back in the village of Arden Gardens, the fairies were very happy about the new information card they were giving to the children. Soon enough, the milk teeth coming into the factory were strong and healthy again. Snow White and Rose Red. Once upon a time there was a poor widow. In front of her small cottage there were 2 rose trees, one of them flowered in white and the other in red. The widow had 2 daughters. One of them was called Snow White and the other one was called Rose Red. They were good and quiet children, singing sweetly in choirs like no other 2 girls in the world. Although they were sisters, Snow White was the quieter and gentler one. Both children loved each other so much that every time when they went out, they walked together hand in hand. And when Snow White said, "We will never be separated," Rose Red would always answer, "As long as we are alive." Their mother would add, "I am the happiest mother in the world to have you 2. You should promise me that you will always take care of each other and that you will share everything you have." And the girls would promise. In the summer, Rose Red would wake up early and do the housework. Then she would pick flowers and leave them next to their mother's bed. Among the flowers there would always be one white and one red rose. In the winter, Snow White would light the fire. Her mother would ask Snow White to lock the door, and then the girls would gather around their mother, who would put her glasses on and would open a thick book to read from it. The girls would listen, and a young goat would curl up with them on the floor. One winter's evening, as they were doing just that, someone knocked on the front door. "Snow White, open the door. It looks like a stranger is in need of a shelter," the mother asked. Snow White unlocked the door, thinking that it was going to be some homeless man, freezing in the cold. But it wasn't a man. Standing there was a big bear. Snow White screamed in fright when she saw the animal. Rose Red was also scared and hid behind her mother's skirt. The goat bleated in terror. But the bear extended his paw in greeting. "Don't be afraid, kind ladies. I won't do you any harm. I am just really cold, and I would like to warm up if you let me in," he said. The three women looked in amazement and fear at the talking bear. Soon their mother came to her senses and told the girls to calm down and help the bear get rid of the snow he had on his coat. The girls did as their mother told them. Feeling warm from the fire, the bear fell asleep and everyone went to bed. The next morning, when the sun rose, the girls opened the door for the bear. He went into the woods to search for blueberries and fish, but he came back in the evening and again curled up by the fireplace. This continued through the winter, and the girls were so used to playing with the bear in the evening and to have him at home that when summer came and the bear had to leave, they were all very sad. "Where are you going to go?" Snow White asked the bear. "I need to go into the woods where I keep my wealth hidden from the evil gnomes. In the winter, when the earth is frozen, they cannot reach it. But in the summer, when the ground softens, they dig all over in a search of treasure. Once they get treasure, they hardly ever give it back," the bear replied. Snow White was really sad that bear was leaving. They hugged and bade each other farewell. Just as the bear was leaving the house, his skin got caught on the door handle, and it appeared to Snow White that gold shone under the bear's skin, but she wasn't sure. The bear ran out, and soon Snow White lost him among the trees. One day, the mother sent the girls into the wood to gather firewood. As they were walking, they came across a big tree, which had fallen down across the path. On the tree there was a little man with a long beard, which was stuck under the tree. The man was jumping around the crack, trying to pull out his beard, but with no success. When he saw the girls, he turned his aged, wrinkled face in their direction. His eyes were red, and it seemed that they would soon pop out. "What are you two staring at? Can't you come over and help? How did you end up like that?" asked Rose Red. "You curious thing. I was trying to gather some sticks in order to light a fire and cook a meal. Now stop asking stupid questions and quit that grinning. It's terrible," the dwarf snapped. The girls tried to pull, then push, then to somehow roll the big tree, but it was too heavy for them, so they offered to go and get help. "Ha! Is that the best you could think of? Who needs more people here? You two are more than enough anyway," the dwarf groaned. "Stay still if you want to be free again," said Snow White, and took a pair of scissors out of her pocket. She quickly cut the end of the dwarf's beard. "What did you do, you stupid girl? How can you cut someone's beautiful long beard?" he barked. With that, he threw his bag over his shoulder and left without even looking at them. One day the girls decided to go out to the river to catch some fish for dinner. When they approached the river, they noticed something which resembled a big grasshopper, jumping around the water as if it was ready to jump in it. They ran towards it and found the same dwarf trying to pull out his beard from a big fish's mouth, but the fish was stronger. The girls grabbed him under the shoulders and tried to pull him, but the fish just wouldn't let the beard go. Snow White had no choice. She took out her scissors and cut off a small part of the dwarf's beard. "What is that? You frogs! How dare you bring shame on my face? My brothers will laugh at me now." Having said that, the dwarf took his bag, which was full with gems, and left without saying a word. Not long afterwards, Snow White and Rose Red were on the way to the nearest town to buy some needles and thread. As they were passing a meadow, they noticed a huge bird in the sky. The bird was flying low and passed close over their heads. The bird perched behind a big rock, and at that moment someone there squeaked. When it took off again, the girls saw the same old dwarf in the bird's claws. They ran just in time to catch the dwarf by the feet. The bird pulled up and they pulled down, and the dwarf was yelling in the middle, "How can you be so rude? Don't stretch my clothes, you stupid girls." When the bird finally gave up, the gnome thudded onto the ground. The girls, who were already used to his rude manners, continued on their way to the town. The dwarf took a bag full of gems and sneaked into his cave. On their way back, they came across the dwarf again. He had laid out his jewels on the ground, thinking that no one would see him. The girls approached. "What are you looking at?" he yelled at them. His face went all red in anger, and he would have continued to yell at them if it hadn't been that all of a sudden they saw a bear running towards them. The dwarf ran towards his cave, but the bear was faster than him. The dwarf was terrified. He started begging, "Please, don't eat me. Here, take these lovely gems and spare my life." "Why would you eat me? I am so little. Look at those horrible girls over there. Eat them instead." The bear wasn't listening to him. With one swipe, he knocked the dwarf over. The girls ran away, but the bear followed them. "Snow White, Rose Red, don't be afraid. Stop running. I'm coming with you," he said. The two girls recognized the voice and stopped to wait for their friend. As he was approaching them, his bear skin fell off and a young man stood before them. He was dressed in gold. "I am a prince," he said and smiled. "That evil dwarf had bewitched me and stolen my treasure. Now that he is dead, the spell has been broken and I am a human again. And it's all thanks to you." Snow White married the prince, and Rose Red, his brother. They split the dwarf's treasure evenly, and their mother moved to the castle with them. She took the rose trees with her and planted them under her window. Every year they flowered with exquisitely fragrant red and white roses. Ashley, the rabbit, has 3 new friends. They are Sophie, Josh, and Tom. Today she is playing with Sophie in the garden behind Sophie's house. "Are you dry today, Ashley?" asks Sophie. She is making a joke about the day Ashley fell in the pond in the park. "Yes, I am dry today," smiles Ashley. "Thank you for helping me to get out of the pond." Sophie and Ashley are sitting under a big tree at the back of the garden. Plop. Something falls down from the tree. "What was that?" asks Ashley. "I don't know," answers Sophie. Plop. Plop. It happens again 2 times. "Look at this," says Sophie. Ashley moves closer to Sophie. Sophie is pointing at something. Ashley looks at it. It's a banana peel. They look around the ground. They find 2 more banana peels. Plop. It's another banana peel. But this time it drops down right on top of Sophie's head. Yuck. Sophie and Ashley hear someone laughing. They look up into the tree, and what do they see? It's a monkey. It's a very naughty monkey. It's Baba, the monkey. "Hey, you, up there," says Sophie. "What are you doing?" But Baba does not answer. He only laughs. Plop. He drops another banana peel. This time it drops on Ashley's head. Sophie and Ashley are not happy. This is a very naughty monkey. Why is he dropping banana peels down to the ground? Why is he dropping banana peels on top of their heads? "You come down here right now," says Ashley. "Yes," says Sophie. "You must help us clean up this mess." But Baba just laughs. Now he starts to swing from branch to branch. Oops. He misses a branch. He falls to the ground. Plop. But this time it's not a banana peel. This time it's a naughty monkey. He's not moving. Oh, no. Is Baba hurt? Sophie and Ashley are scared. They are not happy about the banana peels. But they don't want Baba to be hurt. They run over to see if Baba is okay. He is on his back. They look down at him. He jumps up and laughs and runs around in circles. He is not hurt. He was just pretending to be hurt. He runs and jumps, and does cartwheels and somersaults. Sophie and Ashley laugh at Baba. He is a naughty monkey, but he is also a very funny monkey. My name is Baba, he says as he runs around. I'm Sophie and this is Ashley, says Sophie. Sophie and Ashley start to run around with Baba. Now they try to chase him, but he is too fast. He runs around the tree and they follow him. He looks behind him and does not see the banana peel on the ground. Baba slips on the banana peel. His feet go way up into the air. Plop. He lands on his back again. This time Sophie and Ashley sit on top of Baba. He can't move now. Why are you sitting on top of me? Shouts Baba. Let me go. Let me go. We can't let you go until you answer a question, says Ashley. Yes, says Sophie. Why do you drop banana peels? I don't know, laughs Baba. I don't know what to do with the peels after I eat the bananas. But this is not good, says Sophie. We don't want banana peels in our garden. You're right, says Baba. I'm sorry. I made a mess and now I must clean it up. So Baba starts to pick up banana peels. There are many banana peels, so Sophie and Ashley help Baba. Now the garden is clean. Thank you for helping to pick up banana peels, says Sophie. Let's have a snack. What do you want to eat? How about a banana split? Says Baba.
The Bremen Town Musicians. Once upon a time there was a donkey who lived on a farm with his master. One day he got fed up of working on the farm and decided to leave his master. He set off for the nearby town of Bremen. On his way the donkey met a dog who had also left his home and master. Will you come with me to Bremen? Asked the donkey. Let's become musicians in the town orchestra. You can play the drums and I will play the cello. The dog agreed and they continued on their way together. A little bit further on they met a cat and invited him to go with them to Bremen and join the town orchestra as a violinist. The cat meowed in agreement and the three animals hurried on to Bremen. As they were passing by a castle, the three saw a cockerel crowing as loudly as he could, so they asked him why he was singing so loudly. They are going to cook me and eat me tomorrow, he said, so I am saying goodbye to life. But the donkey said, Don't be silly. Come with us. You have a lovely voice and you could become a singer in the Bremen orchestra. That is where we are all going. The cockerel, who really didn't want to be cooked, jumped on the donkey's back and the four continued on their way. The sun had started to go down and the four friends were looking for shelter for the night. They came across a house which was being burgled. The donkey looked through the window and saw a table which had been generously laid with food and drinks. Since the four friends were very hungry, they decided to drive the burglars away. The dog climbed on the donkey's back, the cat stood on the dog's head, and the rooster perched on the cat's back. They started their concert on three. Hee-haw, brayed the donkey. Woof woof, barked the dog. Meow, said the cat, and cock-a-doodle-doo, crowed the cockerel. At all the noise the burglars started shouting in fear, Help! Ghosts are coming to get us! The men ran out of the door as fast as they could. They wanted to leave the house that very second, thinking that the house was haunted by millions of terrifying ghosts. The four friends made sure that the burglars had run a long way away and then went into the house. They sat down for dinner, ate, drank, and were merry. Full from the delicious meal, they looked for a place to sleep and turned off the lights. The dog curled up behind the door, the cat snuggled in by the fireplace, the rooster perched on the back of a chair, and the donkey settled in one of the kitchen nooks. They soon fell fast asleep. Meanwhile, the burglars gathered and the ringleader decided to send one of them to check whether the ghosts were still in the house as it was dark. The man who was sent approached the house quietly, shaking with fear. He reached the door and stood to listen. Since there was no noise, he went into the kitchen. He wanted to light a fire. So, thinking the cat's glowing eyes were burning coals, he held a candle next to them, hoping it would catch light. The cat jumped on his face and started scratching him. In panic, he stepped back, stepping on the dog, who bit the man's leg fiercely. The man couldn't see anything and began to run around in the dark in a blind panic. He was kicked by the donkey. Then the cockerel crowed and started flying around. The burglar ran to the ringleader and said, "It's not just ghosts. Now there are witches in the house. Some of them scratch, others bite, others kick. It would be better for us if we moved somewhere else." When the rest of the burglars heard him, they left the place as quickly as they could. So the house was left to the four good friends, who gave up their decision to become musicians and instead lived in the house for the rest of their days. The Friendly Raccoon. "Happy birthday, my dear child," Mummy Raccoon said to her young son. "You are such a big boy now. Does that mean that I can go to the lake on my own to gather berries for dinner?" asked the little raccoon. "Sure, of course you can," Mother Raccoon replied, and so the little raccoon set off to the lake. On his way, the raccoon met a monkey. "Where are you going?" the monkey asked. "I'm going to the lake to pick berries for dinner," replied the raccoon. "Are you not afraid of him, the one who lives in the lake?" the monkey asked. "No, not at all," replied the little raccoon, beginning to get nervous. "Is he very scary?" "Oh, yes. He is very, very scary. Here, take this stick and poke him really well to frighten him." The young raccoon arrived at the lake and shouted loudly, "Hey! Is there anyone there? Where are you? Are you in the lake? Come out at once. Let me see you. Are you scared of me?" He kept yelling, but no one came out of the lake. He then stepped on a branch which was half in the water and looked down. The monkey was right, there was someone in the water. And he was watching him. The young raccoon frowned and raised his hand with the stick in it. The person in the lake also frowned and raised his hand. That scared the young raccoon so much that he ran straight home. "I will never go to the lake to gather berries again," he told his mother. "There is someone in the lake and he threatened me with a stick and—" "Son, you shouldn't be so afraid. Why don't you go back and try to smile at him?" Following his mother's advice, the young raccoon went back to the lake and did as she told him. He was astonished when the other one, the one who lived in the lake, smiled right back at him. The young raccoon calmed down and cheered up. He gathered a basket full to the brim of berries. The monkey saw him walking cheerfully by the lake. "Didn't you get scared?" he asked the raccoon. "No, I didn't get scared, because he is not evil after all," replied the raccoon. "Do you want to know how to become friends with him too?" "Yes, please tell me," the monkey answered. "Smile at him. If you do that, he'll smile too." And it happened just as the raccoon had said. The monkey and the raccoon learned that you can make friends if you smile first.